Hey there, Pam. I just heard the news from Tony. Are you really going to completely renovate the second story at your family home? Tony heard about it from your mom, and he was telling me about how amazing the whole space was going to look after everything was finished. Yeah, we decided to knock down some of the walls and create a much more open feeling for the area. It should be nice. Then we were going to make some changes to the bathroom and even try and build a mini kitchen up there to make living up there easier. Wow, so you're basically going to have two homes inside one building, pretty much. Well, we're doing a lot of thinking about how we could make improvements to the house since my parents and I live here with his parents. But yeah, we decided basically to try and create two units inside of the one house. That's amazing. I bet that it's going to turn out just super. And I just know that the second floor is going to get some amazing natural light, especially if you're going for an open floor plan. And with some plumbing going on up there as well, it's just going to be the perfect living space. Wow, I would say that you're much more excited about the renovations than some of us here at home are. But it is really fun, I will say. We're going to go to the hardware store and think about paints for the walls. Oh, I bet it's fun. I used to love making my own house on computer games when I was younger. It's so nice just getting to make a space all your own. Just make sure you don't get too carried away and go for some crazy design you'll regret later. I mean, especially since you're just the daughter-in-law living there, you wouldn't want to ruin the house for your in-laws, right? So just make sure you're not running off with your own design ideas and not listening to anyone else's opinion on the matter. Sorry, I don't think I'm quite following you there. What do you mean by that? Well, you're going to be destroying my room in that house, right? You do realize that I grew up in the house, too. I'm sure that my parents have a lot of important memories in the second floor, and I just hope you're being sensitive to their wishes with this. Ah, okay, I think I understand. Well, if you're wondering if I've asked them if it's okay to go ahead with this, they've said yes. I see. But I bet that you're going to put all this money into renovating the second floor and then just keep it all to yourself, aren't you? I hope that you're at least spreading some of the love to my parents, too. I'm sorry, but I still really am not sure what you're talking about with that. Okay, well, you said that you were going to have running water and plumbing installed on the second floor, right? Well, I just hope that that isn't going to affect the first floor in any way. I'm really not sure at all what you're asking. We're working with a team of professionals who aren't going to let one half of the house go without water. Besides, the pipes on the first floor were all replaced about 5 years ago, so there shouldn't be any issues. It was when your mom was making some changes to the kitchen at the house back then. And you really think that the pipes haven't gone at all bad in the last 5 years? That means they've been there since before the last Olympic Games. Is that a metric that plumbers use when considering the age of pipes? I'm just saying that I hope you remember to renovate the whole house and not just the second floor. I'm sick of coming over and looking at all the old appliances on the first floor, so make sure you're changing everything. I really don't think that there's any real practical need to do any of that at all, really. Oh, and if you're going to renovate the first floor kitchen, then you might as well buy all new table and chairs as well. Just make sure that whatever you do for one area, you do for the other. And you have to remember that my parents are getting old, so make sure you do something to open up the first floor plan as well, got it? Okay, no, hold on just a second. None of that is going to be happening at all. We have a budget and a plan for what we're going to make changes to. If we add on the whole first floor, then that's basically building a new house from scratch. I appreciate your suggestions, but the renovations are going to be between my husband and I and your parents, okay? Are you really sure about that? You know that I'm only mentioning all of this because I want you to care about my parents, right? Are you really saying you don't care about them enough to do this? It has nothing to do at all with any of that. Why would you even say that? Well, it's just that my parents are going to be retiring soon, so they're only going to have their pensions to live off of. I figured the least you could do as their daughter-in-law is help fix up their house. I mean, after all, they're being kind enough to let you and my brother live there with them, right? Bianca, I know what you're trying to do, but I've already told you that we've established a plan and a budget, and we're sticking to both. Well, it sounds to me like you're going to need a new budget and a new plan, so hop to it. If you fix up the whole house, it'd be cheaper than doing things one at a time as you need them. And I don't want to hear any excuses about money. It's not like either of you even pay rent there. I know you're both loaded. Hey, Adam, are you there? I think we might need to pause all the construction and go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board? Pam, why in the world would you want to do that? We just picked out the colors that we're gonna paint the walls.
I know, but I was just talking to your sister, Bianca. I told her about how we were fixing up the second floor of the house, and she told me that we needed to think more about your parents.
Just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, she basically said that anything we were doing for the second floor, we should also do for the first floor as a gift to your mom and dad.
But if we were to redo the entire first and second floor, then we might as well just be building a whole new house. Besides, we already figured out the budget for this and everything.
That's what I tried to tell her, but she insisted that we were doing it all wrong. She said that our budget was too small and didn't take into consideration your parents.
I don't know what she means by that, because our parents already agreed to let us do what we're doing. But I think I might know what's going on here. I think that my parents are trying to use Bianca to get to us.
Get to us? What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
I never actually mentioned any of this to you, because I didn't think it'd really come up, but my dad has really started complaining about the house a lot. He's gone off on me about how cold he thinks the toilet is, how bad the insulation is in the house, and as a comment for every little thing around here.
Oh, really? I had no idea about any of that at all.
Well, it's true. And I do my best to try and listen to what he has to say, but I think he thought it might be more effective to get Bianca on his side.
And that's why you think she was telling us to totally renovate the first floor as well? But does this mean that we'll have to renegotiate this whole thing with your parents then? Besides, it's not like your dad doesn't have money. If he wants to change things, he has the means to do it.
I know they have money, but they certainly don't even have enough for the kind of changes that my dad would like to see around here. Well, I'm sure he would love it if we paid for someone to fix up the first floor.
But then what are we going to do about all of this?
Well, I don't know what we can do. My parents are already swimming in debt. They have some from when they got the pipes replaced and when my dad bought his last car, too.
I didn't realize that they still hadn't paid those off yet, though.
Yeah, they may have had some savings once, but not anymore. I think this is partially why my dad hasn't come to us directly about this, though. I think he was probably hoping that we'd come to him offering to do all the renovations that he'd want to see.
But what are we going to do? We've already laid so much groundwork for this.
Well, I don't really know what we can do now. If this is really happening, then we really may as well just go and construct a whole new house.
Adam, you can't really be serious about that, can you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I also know that Bianca has interests in this as well. She's always complaining about coming back and visiting the house since it's out in the country. And since she knows the house is going to go to one of us, she'd probably love it if you and I paid to make it all brand new in the chance that she gets it.
Well, I guess that all makes some sense. But even so, we just don't have the budget to make those sorts of changes.
Yeah, we do. I'll pay it all. I agreed to take responsibility for the project when we started, and I'm not going to go back on my word now.
Adam, you're really going to pay to have the entire house renovated?
That's right. I don't want you to get any more wrapped up in this nonsense than you already are, so just please let me handle this. Of course, if it's okay with you, I'd still like to be able to ask your opinion on interior design questions. You know that I don't know what I'm doing on that front. Just try and think of a first floor that Bianca would also enjoy.
Got it. Well, I promise you to do what I can. I'll try and make the best house that we can.
Thank you so much, Pam. I knew that I could count on you. I'll call the construction crew soon and talk to him about this.
Oh my gosh, this place looks amazing! This feels like a brand new house. You really went all out with this. I mean, this place looks better than I ever could have imagined it looking. Wait, Bianca, are you in the house right now? Yes, I thought I would pay a little visit to see how things are going. I heard the news from my mom and that the construction is finally complete. Well, yes, the workers did say that they were all done yesterday. Well, it seems to me like you really put some serious work into putting this all together, didn't you? I mean, the design is just so, well, like I said, it's amazing. You really do have a keen eye for this kind of stuff, I'll say that much. Oh, well, I'm very happy that you're so pleased with it. I really did try hard to come up with a nice design. Well, I think you did amazing. I mean, just being here makes me want to move in. Or rather, seeing this is part of why we're moving in. From here on out, we're going to be living here. Wait, what do you mean by that? I don't quite understand. Well, we already brought all our bags here, so my husband and I were going to move into the second floor. But hold on a second. The second floor was renovated so that Adam and I could live up there. There isn't really a spare room in the house where you and your husband could even stay here. And since when were you two thinking of moving in with all of us over here? And just what is so wrong about the daughter of a family coming back to her home to live with her parents, huh? It was fun living away in the city, but it's tough out there. Well, I get wanting a new start, but you can't just announce this all of a sudden. I mean, your parents and I had a lot of agreements that went into these designs. And one of the conditions that we all agreed to when doing this was that you wouldn't be coming back to live here. And just why am I not supposed to be allowed to come back and live with my family? My parents own the house, so if I want to come and live with them again, then I think I have more of a right to make that choice than you. You should be glad to be living with someone like me. Are you serious right now? Do you really think that you can just barge in here and announce that this place is yours? It's always been mine. Besides, we've already brought all our bags and belongings, so it's a bit late to do anything about this now. I don't even know what to say to that. Why would you pack all your things up and bring them here? I told you, it's because I wanted to come back and live with my parents again. I know that they must be getting sick of living with you and Adam. And now that I'm wanting to move back, there's really no need for either of you to even be here in the first place. I'm sure they'll be overjoyed to have me back. Bianca, I really don't know how else to say this to you, but that is not how things are going to work. Adam told me when we got married that we would be living with my parents, but that he would make sure that I never had to suffer because of it. So I really don't think that he's going to agree to just pack up our things and leave after fixing up the home like this. And just who do you think you are to talk to me about my brother? I know him much better than you, and I know how to make him go along with what I want. Besides, don't you know that I'm the elder sibling? He has to obey me because what I say goes. I don't even get why you'd want to move here with your parents. Can you go and live with your husband's parents instead? You can't just show up here and declare that you're kicking Adam and I out of our living space. Well, it kind of sounds to me like I just did, didn't I? And you have no right at all to be disagreeing with me. I've had to put up with Adam since he was little, and now I'm finally going to be taking what is rightfully mine. I'm trying to tell you that it's not going to work that way. You can't just show up and announce that you're living here. Besides, you never ever wanted to come here and live before Adam and I put all the money into the house, so what changed? Can you please just shut up and move out already? How many questions are you going to ask me? Why can't you understand that you've lost and now you've got to leave? You know what? Fine. If this is how you want it, then so be it. Finally! I thought I would never get rid of you. I was worried I'd have to get my mom involved, but I'm happy now that you're just giving it all up. I'm sure my parents and my husband and I will all enjoy living for free in the house that you spent the last several months renovating. Oh, don't you worry about us. After all, it's your parents who are paying for everything. Anyways, I've got to go. Wait, what do you mean that it's my parents who are going to be paying for all of this? I'm sorry, but I've got to get a hold of your brother and the real estate agent. I'll also have to extend the lease on the place we were staying in during the construction. No, wait, I'm trying to ask you a question here. What do you mean about my parents having to pay? I thought that you two paid for everything. Well, yes, we were going to pay for everything that we'd done. Then Adam agreed that he'd pay for it all instead. The loan for the construction and everything was, however, taken out in your dad's name. Why in the world would my dad agree to do something like that? Well, at first we were just going to pay for the whole project in one lump payment. But when it expanded to the first floor, we knew we'd need to take out a loan. So your parents and Adam and I went to the bank, and the bank suggested bundling the loan into the rest of your dad's debt. What do you mean, my dad's debt? I didn't know that my dad had any debt. Well, yes, he does. He has it from when he did his own renovations 5 years ago and when he bought his new car. But he still has debt from doing all of that? That's right. But the banker said that it would be more economic to bundle the home loan in with the rest of his debts in a kind of refinancing plan. And so your dad agreed to it, thinking that it would be Adam who gave him the money to pay back the debt. But I don't understand. Why would he do something like this? Well, that's the thing. Your dad still wasn't keeping up with his own debts, so in the end, Adam agreed to take on all the debt as it became too much for your father. I tried explaining some of the risks that this could come with to your dad, but he wasn't really listening at all. But then, if you two are in charge of the payments, and you two just stop paying, then what's going to happen to all that stuff like the car and the house? I imagine you all are about to find out soon enough, actually. After that, I heard from my husband that Bianca reached out to him and was furious about what was happening. I told him I expected that much to happen after all this. Apparently, the bank had sent a notice to the house explaining that if the payments were not continued, they would be seizing the house and the car. Adam's parents only slowly realizing the consequences of their earlier actions. Adam was already upset at them for acting as if they had no idea about any of this. Bianca, however, was even more upset and raged on about how it was unfair that Adam and I were the only ones left unscathed from all of this. Adam agreed to re-sign over the rights to the house and car so that Bianca and his parents could continue their repayments on the loans, but it was only in exchange for the money that Adam and I had already invested in both of those. With little other choice but to agree, Adam's parents, along with Bianca and her husband, are all living together and working hard to come up with the money to pay off these loans. Adam's lawyer said that it wasn't impossible, but that it would take about 30 years for the four of them to do it all. By then, Adam's parents would be in their 90s. Adam and I were sad about how things had to turn out with his parents and sister. But we blocked them on any kind of social media and used the money we got from them to move to a different city where we wouldn't have to deal with them. We found a decent plot of land with a nice starter home on it and began yet another round of renovations. This time, however, we were only following our own blueprints and nobody else's. It may have taken a long time, but I'm excited to finally have my dream house with the man I love. We've more or less lost all contact with the rest of Adam's direct family, but we'll still hear rumors about them coming from distant relatives and the like. Apparently the four of them decided to sell Adam's dad's new car for a much older model that they could actually afford. They were doing all they could to cut back on costs and escape their debt. I only hope that this experience can at least teach Bianca and her husband a lesson about having respect for others' hard work and not acting so entitled without the authority to back it up. In the meantime, however, Adam and I will still be working on making our dream house a reality as we work hard to follow our plans and stay within budget.